In an amazing fusion between Alf and the Fonz, we get Alphonse. And then there's like this Berg name at the end with pancacas, which is like tacos. Anyway, this kid was born on like the short side of the bus. He wasn't very good at anything. He couldn't tell the difference between TV and life, or eyes looking normally. He even tried eating his toys. And his father was like, no TV for dinner. Don't let me catch you eating that shit. And he's like, but Dad, okay. So he walked away, and the father was like, very good. Yes, he was a very shrewd father, looking in mysterious ways. And then on TV, the flower ate the bee. He was gonna blacklist that show. He tried doing his best comb over. He was in the early stages of midlife crisis too. But he did a comb under. He did a comb under, and it failed. His reflection was more disappointed with him than himself. The child was eating some sort of avocado bread. He didn't even finish it, or his milk. He didn't even finish his car. His dad had to make the bed for him. His father was so controlling, but his son didn't know the difference between a good father and a bad father, even if he did pop his son's pimples on his bed. He tried opening the dresser, and you know what? He did it. An ultimate display of impossibilities. And the father said, no, we get our money from here. And the son didn't know. He didn't know how to organize things. His brain was like his father's hair. Messy, unkempt, unable to do anything. He held the forks and the fucking plates upside down. He put all of it down neatly. The father was pleased with the sacrifices his son had made over the years. But the son still couldn't do it. He couldn't fucking do it. And the father was running with the clothes all day. He also had a box or a trash can with a dog in it. He vacuumed the floor in his slippers. The crazy man. The door was there too. The door was there and they opened it. You could see that they were very into putting groceries on tables. He put the groceries on like a conveyor belt, and the father just kept going, oh, okay, I'll just put it on top of the shelf instead of in the cabinets. And of course, the son always put the same thing down whenever the camera turned to him. It was always the coffee or something. It was like the animation was looping, but that's unlikely. The father had thong pants. You see, these were the most glorious thong pants because he made them himself. And the son, he had a banana fetish. Oh, but this was no normal banana fetish. He had a fetish for every banana. Every banana. And also a lot of other groceries. And they disappeared. You know what? All that money went down the drain. He didn't even care. He just looked at the ceiling. The father said something. Oh, he said something, all right. And he pet the bags. Oh, yes, he did. Like they were one of his French grills. Oh, and the boy, he just kept eating the bananas like his fetish demanded. And he wanted to read his airplane book. So he did so in his father's closet, because that's where you read books, while eating bananas. And then you know what? The father, he was reading too, in the living room, with a footrest. It could not become very healthy for his spine the way he was sitting. And anyway, at 2 o'clock or something, shit started to go down. You see, he was eating his banana, unaware of the prior events that were to unfold. There were cars that didn't exist. And you know what? Water started dripping. And he was like, what's that fucking sound? And then he noticed, oh, that's not the sound of water. That's the sound of lube. Then he was like, but where would the lube be dripping? He looked. He was like, oh shit, what if the lube touches my head? I don't want a lube head. That would be nasty. Very nasty. And it all started coming down in such great quantities that eventually he just had to fucking run. So he did. And you know what he did? He went to his father. Or no, he didn't. Okay. He got a fucking ladder. Because that's what kids do. And you know what? He looked. There was so much lube. There was so much lube everywhere. And he was like, Father. And the father was like, hmm? And he was like, there's lube on the shelf. He's like, what? He was like, look over here. Lube. There's lube. The father was like, oh no, he found my infinite supply of lube. Oh, what was I thinking, putting it in his reading closet? And then he touched it, and he ate it, and he said, bananas. And he just kept licking it, for it was banana-flavored lube. So the father mopped the floor with him. And there was a picture of him too. Just look at it. Fucking look at it. But now we see him mopping the floor with his son. Or what he thought was his son. It was in fact a mop he was mopping the floor with. The son was like, if the lube was in there, then where is the other item? And he thought, oh, I know where. He slid down and snuck away after saying something. His eyes still didn't work. His father's eyes did, and the eyes saw all. He opened the fridge. He froze the Speedo pants. He froze them, and he played hockey with them. Like this. Like this, I said. Do it, kid. And it flew away. Suddenly, the father remembered his plans for the evening. The father planned to feed him the pants. He was going to have pants for dinner, 'cause that's what dinner is. The child demonstrated his dis-ease with his tribal dance. The father knew nothing of his son's customs, and so he was oblivious as his son simply rubbed his belly and thought of the delicious dinner that he would have once he gutted his father. The food was drying, and would soon be ready for preparation by the grand head chef, Mooey Mizzou. And he licked his finger as he thought of the eggs he would shove up his anus, the flour he would just simply eat, the water that would go in the salt, like that. You know what? He picked up the eggs and he threw them. The son caught them. And you see, this kid, he was an autism specter, so he was the best at juggling eggs despite being fucking retarded. And he cracked the eggs. He was good at that too. Anything with eggs, he got it. He got the eggs every time. He looked at the wheat. He looked at the water or milk. It got poured in there. The son just kept sticking his tongue out and stirring it around. He was like, oh, this is gonna be some good shit. And the father was just looking, and he put the salt in, tried tasting it. Ugh. He thought it was sugar. It wasn't, though. The grand head chef, Mooey Mizzou, he put the artificial semen in the pan. The son was unaware that it was artificial semen, so he eagerly awaited his semen cake as his father tossed it towards the screen and onto the plate. He made another one. He did it so fast, he flung it into the air. There were so many. I don't know how they'd be able to eat this many semen cakes. And this kid, he just kept putting jam on it, and they would not stop eating for the rest of the day. They all got indigestion and died. The end.